Before we get started, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to get subscribed and turn that notification bell on to stay up to date with the latest news, analysis, and reviews in the world of Google Stadia. And if you could do me a favor and also hit the like button, as it'll help more people find this video just like you did. We have a lot of stuff coming up with the Stadia Initiative in the next 8 days. This Friday will be episode number 7 of the Stadia Initiative, where you'll be able to join myself, Meg, Eddie, MM2K, Germani, and Chase as we assemble for the last time before the Stadia Connect on Tuesday. And speaking of the Connect, we will all gather over on Eddie Player One's channel again for our live reaction on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Now, while I can't speak for the rest of the cast, I will also be joining Eddie for our live reaction to Ubisoft's event this Sunday, so be on the lookout on Twitter for exact times and links to those streams. In fact, be on the lookout over at Eddie's channel in general, as you may be seeing more of me than what I just said you would. But we are here to talk about the Connect, and stick around to the end for a prediction so far out there, it may actually be quite plausible, alright? But the Stadia Connect is Google's take on Nintendo's very popular Direct series, if this is your first time hearing about the Connect. And this Connect usually features a roadmap of games to come and even some fun shadow drops as well. On the last episode of TSI, the cast and I discussed our predictions for the Connect and things we would like to see, and you can watch that episode in its entirety by clicking the link in the top right. But let's expound on my predictions here. Right out the gate, I believe we're going to get our second straight Connect talking about Electronic Arts, or the company more commonly known as EA. Currently, what we know about EA's future titles is that Madden NFL 21 is coming out on August 25th for the current generation of consoles, and FIFA is coming out on October 9th. As much as I'd like to see these games show up day and date with the other consoles, we already have the expectation of that not being the case. So I believe the Connect will start out along the lines of them referencing the partnership being announced at the last Connect, and that FIFA and Madden will both see releases for Stadia around November, which will line up with the next generation releases of those games. My hope is that EA is working on these games from a next-gen developmental standpoint and not a current generational port, because if that was going to be the case, I don't think day and date would be an issue here, especially considering these games are pushed back past their normal timelines in the release schedule as it is. However, that won't be where EA stops. Stadia will also announce that Jedi Fallen Order will be available right now in the Stadia store. Now, there has been an instance where Jedi was announced as coming in the fall with the sports titles following in the winter, but in the official press release, it's only noted as later this year. 2 months from April is considered later this year, and I think it'd be a great way to start off the Connect.
But wait, there's more.
During EA Play, EA's own version of the Connect, Apex Legends was officially announced as moving to full crossplay and that it was coming to the Nintendo Switch in the fall. I believe if Nintendo's going to hold their own Direct this summer, which they said they weren't, this announcement would have absolutely been there. And since it was known Google had a Summer Connect, maybe Google wanted to hold off on their side until July 14th. Apex is going to be announced as coming to Stadia around the same time as the Switch's release, bringing crossplay to every single gaming platform out there and making Apex the biggest Stadia game immediately upon release. Besides, it was already possibly confirmed by the Washington Post during the EA Play event already. Next up is going to be a quick mention from me, as it is the easiest thing to predict. Orcs Must Die 3 will get its official release date after being mentioned from the last Connect. Now, as for its specific release date, I would like to say it'll be another shadow drop and be available on July 14th, so that's what I'm choosing to go with. During the Digital Game Developers Conference, one of the most newsworthy items related to Stadia was that an exclusive game was being developed between Stadia and Splash Damage, the team behind particular entries in the Gears of War series and Halo series over on Xbox. While I think it's far too early to talk about what Google's first-party studios have been working on, I do believe it's high time to learn about what Splash Damage has been working on, because who knows how long they've been developing something for Stadia. While I would love to say I can include Stadia games and entertainment in this prediction, I do believe we get some idea of what Splash Damage has been working on in the form of a cinematic trailer or a teaser trailer of some kind. One of Stadia's biggest problems is the fact that they have no true exclusives to call their own, and while the platform does have exclusives in the form of timed exclusives, every platform needs something to sell that can only be played there. So their own version of The Last of Us, their own version of Halo, their own version of Mario, Splash Damage has this opportunity to bring that exact thing to Google Stadia, and I do believe we get some teaser of what they have in store for us at this Connect. Like at the last Connect, I absolutely believe we will get additional shadow drops in the store on the 14th of July. Now, these would be wild guesses with absolutely no merit behind them, so we really have to go off the reservation to make predictions like PUBG or Octopath Traveler happen again. So what could fill that unique niche this time around? I'll be honest, I simply do not know, but I do believe this is where the recently rated Celeste comes into play. Celeste is one of my favorite games of this generation. It's a 2D platformer that adds unique mechanics yet is as rewarding as it is challenging. I can't stress enough about how good of a game this is, and I was dancing with joy when I saw the rating release for Celeste on Google Stadia last week. I fully expect Celeste to get an official announcement next Tuesday and a drop in the store at the same time. But what is the big announcement? There's always a big announcement at these things, right? Well, if you watched TSI a couple weeks ago, this prediction is already spoiled for you. So one of the biggest gaming companies out there that simply has had no mention involving Stadia just yet has been Activision Blizzard. And what better way to do so than involve one of its biggest IPs that can be considered one of the biggest IPs in all of gaming. My biggest prediction for the Connect is that Overwatch 2 will be announced for Google Stadia. Now, I don't think we get any kind of new information about Overwatch 2 coming from a Google presentation, but I do think it's quite plausible that we get a teaser trailer for its pending release, and this would begin to open the floodgates for other titles in the future, such as the Call of Duties of the world, Crash Bandicoot 4, and Diablo. But enough of what I think. What do you think? Do you think my predictions are too safe or simply too far out there? And what did I miss? Do you think we hear more about features or a release window for Uplay Plus to arrive on Stadia? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. We're also doing sports video game specific content over on my second channel, which you can find a link to below in the description. So if sports content is something that's up your alley, don't hesitate to subscribe and join the conversation over there as well. As I said earlier, if you could drop a like on this video, it will really help us out here so we can get more like-minded people to join this community. And of course, get subscribed, as that's the easiest way for you to stay up to date with our new content. And lastly, I want to thank you as always, and party on.